What it is, it's your boy True McFadden, aka Do-Rag True, with True Be Talking. And in this video, I gotta talk about the Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. fight coming up and give my prediction. Hey, yo, hey. Hey man, this is gonna be a good fight. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. Of course, their fathers have history where they, had a really big rivalry back in the day. The rivalry continues now, and they're going to be fighting this Saturday, April 26th. And I think this is going to be a really good fight. Of course, like I always do, I just want to give my breakdown. When I started doing research for this fight, this, of course, is the first time I actually seen both of them fight. I never watched either one of them before. Although I have heard Conor Benn's name brought up in conversations about boxing over the, in the past. I just never had a chance to watch them. But I went back, of course, like I always do, watched a couple fights from him. And of course, also a few fights from Chris Eubank Jr., Conor Benn. So with Conor Benn, the fights that I watched with him, the things that I noticed that he's good at, he has really good movement. Has defense is really good. He knows how to get out of the way of punches and also counter punch when he's, when his opponent is throwing punches. He's really good at punching in between the punches and getting out of the way. So his defense is really good. He has a really good. He can really fight on the back foot, and he can also fight with pressure. He can step forward. He's really good even if he's going backwards. If he's, if someone's is putting pressure on him, he's good at fighting that way as well. So if you're attacking or if you're waiting for him to attack, he can still do what he wants to do in the ring pretty much. When it comes to fighting like taller fighters, he's really comfortable in there with taller opponents. And I think there's going to be, one of the things that's going to come up in this fight. I think Chris Eubank Jr. is a little taller than him. So yeah, that's one thing he's gonna have to deal with. But he seems to be pretty comfortable, fighting with taller fighters. His footwork is great. Like I said, he counter punches, he punches between punches. So he's a really good fighter, and I like what I saw from him. For Chris Eubank Jr., I actually ended up watching 3 fights for him. The first fight was a fight versus Liam Smith. And in that fight, he actually got knocked out. He lost that fight. So, and they had a rematch. So of course I had to go and watch the second one to see, him get his get back on that one, which he came back and stopped Liam Smith. But the difference that I saw between those 2 fights, in the first fight with Liam Smith, his hands were down. I didn't like how his hands were down. They were low. The way he was bringing his punches from, his jab, he has a really good jab. But when in that first fight with Liam Smith, his jab, it wasn't as effective as it should be because he was throwing it from his hip, basically, because his hands were low. In that second fight, and it looks like he changed trainers too as well. In that second fight, his hands were up. His defense was a little better. His punching was way better. He was able to deliver his punches with not only faster, and a little more accurate, but also with more strength. He was able to put a little more power behind it because he had his hands up. So in that second fight with Liam Smith, it was a really good fight. And, of course, he got the stoppage. The third fight I watched from him, I think it was the most recent fight. He fought Khalil Shrezmata or something like that. In that fight, he got a stoppage as well, but his hands were low again, didn't have his hands up. The jab, his punches were a lot sharper than that first fight with Liam Smith. He still has a really good, accurate jab. That jab was there for him. Uppercuts, his favorite punch seems to be the uppercut. He throws that quite a lot. He needs to make sure when he throws that punch that he's at a good distance, because some of the times he was throwing it from a bad distance and he was getting caught coming in. Which if the guy that he was fighting, if Shrezmata had a little more on his punches, he probably would have been in real trouble. But what I like from Eubank Jr., like I said, he has that good uppercut, has a good jab. His defense is okay. He can get hit with punches, so that's going to be something to be on the lookout for. But all in all, with the way that their styles match up, like I said, Conor Benn has really good upper body movement, good head movement. He knows how to get out of the way of punches and also counter punch while he's making those, while he's making those movements. Chris Eubank Jr. He seems to have a little bit of the same issue with Boots, is because when he's throwing punches, he's not getting his head out of the way, and he's able to be countered. He's able to be hit, even if the other person is kind of starting out. He doesn't have a lot of good, head movement, upper body movement, so he is able to get hit. That's going to probably end up being an issue in this fight because Conor Benn does, he has some pretty good strength on his punches. He has pretty good punching power. So it's going to be interesting to see. But of course, I got to get my prediction. My prediction for this fight, just based off what I've seen in those few fights that I watched between those two that they've had in the past, I got to go with Conor Benn on this one. Conor Benn, he seems to have, like I said, better movement when it comes to defense, better upper body movement, better head movement. His punches are, even though Chris Eubank Jr. has really accurate punches as well, especially with that jab, he can be pretty accurate with that uppercut. I feel like he's going to rely on that uppercut a little too much. And with Conor Benn's movement and able to get out the way of those punches and counter punch, I think that's going to end up spelling trouble for Chris Eubank Jr. I do think Conor Benn is going to win this fight. I think he's going to come by way of knockout. I do think it'll be a knockout. I'm going to say anywhere between the 7th and 9th rounds, if it goes that far. Because I feel like because there is, history there. They have a really big rivalry that started with their dads back in the day. So I think starting out, we're going to see some fireworks. So, this fight, it's a good chance this fight won't even last to the 5th round. But I feel like if it makes it to at least the 3rd or 4th, we might get to the 7th. I think they'll cool off around the 2nd or 3rd round. I think we're going to, in those first couple rounds, I think we're going to see fireworks. I think it's going to be, they're going to come out swinging for the fences. But I believe out of the two of those men, those two guys, I think Conor Benn is the better boxer. I think he's going to come away with the W on this one. But of course, as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Yeah, myself in the throat. Like, share, subscribe. It's your boy Do Rag True with True Be Talking, and I'm out.